Hi guys, it's Arseny here. Today we're going to discuss a very interesting topic, specifically for my HVAC contractors that are watching me. So we're going to specifically talk about how you guys lose money because you ignore signals in your pipeline. The goal for today would be to give you the clear understanding how you may potentially lose your time and money by dealing with somebody who is not even worth dealing with. So imagine yourself a quick pipeline. So this is obviously a very professional drawing here. So this is basically like a sales pipeline. Each pipeline has its own stage, basically, and in each stage you have some leads there. So this is the initial stage, or just initial opt-in. Then you have the service stage, then you have the quote stage, and then you have the deal stage. And inside of each stage you have some leads. And how do you understand if the leads that you have, for example, in those three, are actually worth pursuing? And how do you make sure that you disqualify the ones that are not worth pursuing and double down on the ones that are worth pursuing? And how then you understand how to generate more of the ones that are worth pursuing, basically? This would be my goal today. So first of all, that you need to understand clearly is that a lead isn't just a phone number. This is not just an email. This is not just a name, an address. This is not like this. This is a bundle of signals, fundamentally. If you can't read those signals, you are blind. Completely blind. And I can guarantee 1000% that you are wasting time and money if you can't read those signals. 1000 motherfucking percent. So what we're going to do now is we're going to define 5 core signals that clearly give us the indication that the lead is qualified or disqualified. So let's jump straight into this one. Signal number 1 is property owner check. Renters waste your time. Now, this is very obvious. So because this one is the easiest one to talk about and to actually explain and to understand in the first place, because the majority of the guys that are watching me, you guys are focused on residential and commercial clients. So you either are focused on homeowners, commercial property owners, or business owners. So this means that in order to close somebody, you have to have the direct impact to the person who actually owns the property, because they have the right to decide whether or not they want something to be done at their property or not. So you have to talk with somebody who has the authority and has the clear proof that they actually own the property and they can modify it how they want. So this is pretty obvious, and you make sure that you generate the actual property owners by properly communicating with your lead generation system. You clearly specify who you help, and this is pretty much it. If you have some really big problems with this, obviously you incorporate some deeper things like proper nurturing with the form on your website, for example, on your landing pages or whatever you're using. You're doubling down on the communication as well. Then you maybe also incorporate some additional follow-ups as well, some human interaction to make sure that you are sort of filtering out the irrelevant leads as fast as possible. But normally, if you have a proper messaging and the offer on the lead generation system that you have, you won't really have any problems with generating the property owners if you properly communicate yourself. Next up, signal number 2 is urgency. So if they say next year you are stuck nurturing forever, if somebody doesn't have a clear pain that they want to alleviate, there is no fucking point to talking to them. You can't really sell them something if you can't attach the solution to the pain that they want to solve, because somebody goes to a new place when they have pain in the current place. So you have to have some level of pain inside of them, even if it's subconsciously, or even if they just couldn't really clearly articulate this that's just by themselves. And obviously the ideal scenario, if somebody opting in and they clearly indicate what the problem is, like for example, they have broken heating system or a broken air conditioning, or they've been seeing that their energy bill has been too high recently during the past year, so they are concerned about their thing. So now you have the leverage to use your solution to attach it to the problem, obviously. And urgency in this case, this is basically just the word to indicate that somebody has painful enough problem that they want to solve it faster. And the more painful the problem, the faster they want to solve it, obviously. The urgency essentially just indicates this. Next one. Signal number 3 is budget readiness. So sales process doesn't make sense if the prospect can't really pay. By the way, this all signals are all interconnected. So budget readiness is something really important, because This derives from the previous one, from the pain. So if somebody has the pain, then obviously, if they're looking for somebody to have potentially help them alleviate this pain, then this automatically means that they have some budget to work with. But budget readiness in ideal case scenario is when somebody sees you as somebody who they want to speak with separately from all other competitors, and this basically allows you to be sure that they sort through the budget thing. They understand that they are ready, for example, to pay more for the quality, or pay for more for the specific service that you have, or the offers that you have. So this way, this sort of pre-qualifies them as budget ready. Of course, as well, you have some additional signals at this stage. Like if somebody is reaching out to you and they are all about understanding the price right away, this is a red flag, because this way you're dealing with a price shop. Budget readiness in this case just means essentially physically having the amount of money needed to pay for your service. And when somebody is reaching out to you asking for the price right away, this clearly means that they see you as somebody who's just doing the same thing as the other guy, which obviously indicates in a problem of the messaging. So in the good case scenario for this signal number 3, when somebody is reaching out to you and they are talking specifically about the goal or the problem that they have and they want to solve this, and they specifically want to speak with you, they clearly say to you, so when can we have the survey, when can we discuss this? I would be really keen to understand what you think about this. I really liked how you helped this person, so I would really want to discuss this with you as well. So these are just examples of how this can be framed, for example, in the form or in your initial chat with somebody. And so when somebody takes time to explain what they want, to discuss the problem, to discuss the solution, to discuss the goal, to discuss how this all can be done, and only then they ask about the price, to essentially to understand what is the actual cost and then the value of the solution, not just the price in itself, but what would be the tailored thing that I want for my specific situation, which I just discussed with this specific business, basically. And in this case, you have a huge green flag, because this way it clearly indicates that somebody sees you as somebody who is different. They want to clearly discuss with you the solution, and only then they want to discuss the price. And of course, which is why we don't really have any problems with our clients with generating the leads that aren't budget ready, because everybody who generate, they are pretty much all budget ready, because we separate the clients from everybody else on the market. Signal number 4 is decision maker versus tire kicker. So this one is very, very simple to understand. Let me check with my partner is a stall. So in this case, when you are dealing with decision makers, you usually have specificity. This is one of the best tips that I can give you about signal 4 is that when somebody is specific, either with what they are looking for, or when they're looking to solve the problem, or when they're looking to achieve something or anything like this usually means that they are the clear decision maker. And this is all obviously interconnected with the signal number 2, signal number 3, signal number 1, as I mentioned to you. So at every single stage of the sales process, you have to check. You have to constantly check if somebody's star kicker or a decision maker, and you do this by simply asking questions that clarify the intention. So, what is the specifics of what they want to achieve? And if you get specific answers, then you have a very high likelihood that you're actually dealing with a decision maker. And constantly keep your eye on those. Let me check with my partner or anything like this. Obviously, oftentimes the start is just a smoke screens, especially when you share the price. But if this is something that is being constantly raised at different stages of the pipeline, then this is definitely a red flag. Now, next thing is signal 5, timeline clarity. So this is also a big one. Vague, maybe soon leads clog your funnel. So this is very easy and at the same time important to understand, is that when somebody is not specific about the timeline when they want to do something, this automatically means that the problem isn't painful enough, basically. And when somebody has the timeline clarity, it clearly means that they have a very specific intention to be in different place to achieve the goal. And when you achieve the goal, you alleviate the pain. So with signal number 5, you just make sure that you have specifics with the lead. And again, going back to the pipeline example, when you, for example, see a specific lead that is that you don't really know, you just call them, you just arrange the visit, you just have a chat with them, and you just double down on this, and you make sure that you're actually speaking with the right person in the first place. Because if you don't, that doesn't make sense. And again, if the lead gen channel is on point, you won't really have problems with this that much. So this is why, like, we don't really have those big problems with clients. We always have the signals as something that we monitor all the time to make sure that we have this on point at any specific stage of the growth that we have for clients. Now, so if you see that you have some problems with any of those signals, you fix it normally by building systems that catch these signals before you waste time chasing. And this is important because you can't really create the problem when somebody doesn't have it. You can't really create the urgency. You can't really create the specifics about the timeline or anything like this, because it all depends on the actual need, the goal, problem somebody has. You can't really just go into somebody's business, break their shit, or somebody's home, break their system, or do shit there, and then create the problem like artificially. Obviously, this is not something that we want to do, and please don't do this. So fundamentally, you have to catch the signals beforehand. You have to pre-qualify the leads beforehand, before you actually generate them. You have to be specific with the offer, with the messaging, and so on and so forth. So and the sort of and the sad thing is that if you take a look at the pipeline and you see the leads that don't meet some criteria here, and you clearly see that the potential to close them is not really that high right now, you just have to admit this. You just have to say, okay, so this is not the thing you can, and just move them into the long-term nurture thing. But if you structure it properly as well, it can work. But obviously, it's something that will bring the results way later. So this is one of the reasons why my clients scale with confidence while competitors chase noise. And this is absolutely true, because we don't really have any problems with those signals, because we have the fundamentals done properly. So this way we just generate good ones. And this video wasn't really to brag about the results at all. It was mainly about showing you guys what are the core signals. So this way you can sort of you can take a look at your pipeline and see if you have any problems with this. And what I actually have for you is a bonus here. If you want a simple HVAC lead signal checklist that I built personally to instantly qualify or disqualify leads, you can comment checklist where you see this. For example, if you're watching this, so you can just comment checklist, and I will personally send this to you right away for free of charge. Don't worry about this. So this way you can take a look at your pipeline and disqualify or qualify leads, and just understand who to double down on and how to get more of the right ones, because you will clearly see the signals of the winning leads that you have. This was it. If you have any questions, feel free to ask them anytime. If you want this checklist, just drop me the checklist in the comments and I will send this to you. Okay? Cheers.